Rush's face is now half human and half Dark Knight. He is stunned that he lost to a monster like her. He asks her what she's made of. She tells Rush that he is only the start of her revenge. She tells him not to think that his comrades will be safe. Rush, after hearing Ignis, bursts into laughter. He confirms that she is indeed claiming she can overpower all the top-ranked members of Guild Number 0. He instantly dismisses her assertion, telling her to cease spouting such absurdities. He reminds her pointedly that a ploy like this will not succeed a second time. He then makes it explicitly clear that, ultimately, monsters cannot defeat players. Furthermore, he firmly believes that her demise is certain once her existence becomes widely known across the world. Ignis glances toward a nearby sword and takes a step in its direction. As she closes the distance, she reaches out, grasps the sword, and lifts it from the ground. She perceives only a faint sensation, yet she can still feel the lingering warmth of her beloved brother. Despite the feeling that it might vanish at any moment, the warmth persists. She pulls the sword close, embracing it, and begins to weep, convinced that her brother, Tafas, is somehow present. Through her tears, she addresses him, identifying herself as his sister, Ignis. She continues to cry uncontrollably, offering apologies for her inability to protect him. In the midst of her sorrow, she hears Olivia, who is lying a short distance away on the ground. Ignis immediately rushes over to Olivia, who is panting heavily. She urgently asks Olivia if she is all right. Ignis observes Olivia's labored breathing, which signals that something is gravely amiss. Olivia continues to gasp for air. Suddenly, a screen materializes, displaying a notification. It announces that the quest rescue Olivia has been reinstated. Olivia lets out a cough, and a sudden, brilliant light emanates from her body. The dazzling radiance envelopes the entire area, and within moments, Olivia transforms from a slime into her human form. A beautiful young woman now stands before Ignis. This is Olivia's human manifestation. Ignis stares, realizing that Olivia has just completed a transformation into a human. Ignis is utterly bewildered by the unfolding events. She looks at Olivia again and repeats her question, asking if she is all right. Instead of responding to Ignis' inquiry, Olivia poses her own question, asking if Emma is safe. Ignis' emotions are immediately stirred. She begins to cry, informing Olivia that she was unable to save Emma. She blames herself entirely for the tragic outcome. Olivia then asks Ignis to recount the details of Emma's death. Ignis explains to Olivia that Emma was attempting to protect her, and she apologizes profusely. Olivia envisions the familiar Emma and begins to weep herself, tears streaming down her face. Ignis felt completely at a loss for words, unable to even conjure a single phrase of comfort. She wondered if her silence stemmed from the overwhelming guilt. The profound heartache was unbearable. Feeling utterly wretched, she extended her hand toward Olivia. She then urges Olivia that they must depart from their current location immediately, as members of the Rush Guild could arrive at any moment. She reaches out her hand again, suggesting they journey to the village. Olivia takes her hand, holding it gently. Ignis was unsure why she had been given a heart. However, thanks to Emma, a profound realization dawned upon her when she held Olivia's hand. She had lost her abilities. Nothing had gone according to her intentions, and her heart was shattered. Yet, it was through mutual support in times of adversity that she was beginning to forge genuine connections. They both eventually reached the village of nature, Alukia. The chief of the Merchant Association surveyed the extensive destruction that the Bandit Guild had inflicted during the festival. He pondered whether the girl in the red-patterned cape had survived. He was aware that her adversary was the Thief Guild, an organization capable of eliminating even high-ranking individuals. Consequently, he speculated that she might no longer be alive. Suddenly, a loud banging erupted at the door. He observed someone knocking and wondered who was attempting to enter the room from the back entrance. He loudly commanded the person knocking to enter the room. Ignis and Olivia stepped inside. The Merchant Association chief observed both of them. Seeing that Ignis was alive, he inquired if she had returned after engaging in combat with the thief class. He then questioned her about the identity of the girl accompanying her. Realizing the impropriety of his immediate questions, he decided he should first offer her a seat. He led the way, instructing her to sit down. Olivia asked Ignis about their current location. Ignis and Olivia settled at the table. The Merchant Association chief placed his cup onto the table. He then asked Ignis the reason that had brought her there. Ignis requested that he educate her about this world. She asked the Merchant Association chief to provide her with various pieces of information, carefully concealing her identity as a monster, from how to log off to how to remove her brother's items. Her brother's items could be extracted in any village. However, there was no such facility in Alukia because it was a village for beginners. She knew there were 5 items remaining. The top rankers completely concealed their class and other crucial information. She acknowledged that it would not be an effortless battle, but she also understood that she could not surrender. Meanwhile, a screen materialized before her, displaying details about an absolute quest for the most substantial being. The quest objectives included forming the strongest possible party. She was required to collect points from player-versus-player PK encounters and various events. The top 12 individuals would then participate in the Absolute Battle Royale. They were notified that the event would take place on December 1st. Finally, the reward was an absolute grade unique item. Ignis observed that the world was evolving more rapidly than anyone had anticipated. Immediately following Ignis' victory over Rush, an absolute quest was initiated for all users of the VR game Hidden Ego. A mystical item was presented as the ultimate prize. The absolute grade denoted a top-tier item possessing cheat-level capabilities. The fascination surrounding this enigmatic item and the user's fervent desire for greater strength were more than enough to propel them into action. Meanwhile, Rush slowly got up and sat, feeling utterly annoyed and deeply frustrated. He clenched his teeth and hurled insults at Ignis. He rose from his bed and stepped out of his room. The monster had acted as if it possessed its own will, but he considered it unsurprising, even if a highly advanced, self-governing AI existed within the game, Hidden Ego. The game administrators did not engage in direct communication with the users. However, the game was remarkably popular due to its immense freedom and captivating gameplay. Rush acknowledged that this game was indeed enjoyable. The administrators had previously engaged in peculiar behaviors. Rush was preoccupied with his phone, communicating with Hyan and Minown. He messaged both of them in a group chat, declaring that this game was trash. Min asked Rush if he was only just realizing this, stating his belief that the game had been trash from the very beginning. Another player, Kim Jian, inquired of Rush what had transpired, noting his usual proficiency in the game. Rush then typed a message, asking them what kind of monster could possibly possess its own ego. Conversely, the Merchant Association chief opted not to inquire about Ignis' true nature. He instead asked Ignis if there was anything else she wished to know from him. Ignis produced the same coupon he had given her earlier. She extended it toward the Merchant Association chief, explaining that she wished to purchase some clothing for Olivia. He grinned, having already anticipated her request. He told her to wait a moment. He then led Olivia to the store, inviting her to select any dress she desired. She began examining the dresses. One she initially considered was too costly, so she ultimately purchased an Elysian Slime apparel set, a limited edition item. The Merchant Association chief observed Olivia wearing the dress, noting that it looked quite suitable on her. Olivia twirled, telling Ignis to observe how flowing the dress was. Ignis looked at Olivia. The Merchant Association chief informed Ignis that the coupon was merely a discount ticket, but the dress Olivia had chosen was complimentary. He also subtly pointed out that the dress Ignis was wearing herself was quite expensive, demonstrating the true generosity of a merchant. Ignis asked the merchant chief if he meant she owed him treasure. She produced a bag overflowing with coins and slammed it onto the table. She then questioned the chief if these coins would suffice or if he required more. She presented him with a rare item, a dragon treasure. After receiving the treasure, the Merchant Association chief was utterly astonished by Ignis' actions. She then told Olivia that they should depart. They were about to leave when the Merchant Association chief inquired where they intended to go. Ignis paused, and replied to the Merchant Association chief that she would be searching for her brother. The scene shifts to the novice hunting ground of Alucia. Olivia and Ignis arrive there. Both Olivia and Ignis observe slimes lying on the ground. Ignis tells Olivia that she must journey across the entire world to exact revenge and resurrect her brother. She then tells Olivia that she is free to live as she chooses. Olivia's complexion visibly paled after hearing Ignis' words. She noticed a slime and approached it. Upon seeing the slime, she recalled her past moments with Emma. She remembered the closeness she and Emma had once shared. She began to cry after reliving those memories. She sniffled and started weeping uncontrollably. Emma had been her very first friend. She could not fathom how joyous she would be if Emma were still alive. She was uncertain what she needed to do now. Amidst her sobs, she questioned what purpose she had to live for. She looked at the slime lying near her foot. She remembered when Rush had confined her within the slime machine. She then asked Ignis if other monsters like those slimes existed out in the world. Having witnessed a festival utilizing slimes, a cage designed to imprison monsters, and the general treatment they endured, Ignis was convinced that what had happened to Emma and Olivia was not an isolated incident. She told Olivia that the possibility of what she was asking did indeed exist. Olivia clenched her hand tightly. She assured Emma that she would also assist her in finding her brother. Therefore, during their journey, they should endeavor to save as many monsters as possible. She understood that saving Taffas before other monsters with egos was not what he would have wanted. Ignis accepted Olivia's offer, agreeing to their shared objective. Olivia was visibly delighted by Ignis' agreement. Thus began the adventure of Ignis, a dragon who had lost her brother, and Olivia, a slime who had lost her friend. Their journey together commenced at this very moment. As they were leaving the location, Olivia suddenly heard a phrase about traveling safely. She paused. Ignis asked her what had happened and why she had stopped moving. Olivia told Ignis that she felt as though she had heard Emma's voice. She looked back and smiled, certain that she would return. In her heart, she promised Emma that she would be back with her soon. At 1:25 a.m., deep within the Alucia forest, Olivia and Ignis walked through the trees. And Olivia yawned, feeling drowsy. Ignis observed that the sun had completely set, so she decided they should set up camp somewhere. They cut tree branches and started a bonfire. As the bonfire ignited, Olivia felt a sense of relief, finally experiencing some warmth. Ignis offered her a blanket for coverage. Olivia expressed her gratitude, noting that Ignis cared for her like an elder sister. Ignis sat beside Olivia. Olivia asked Ignis if she wasn't cold. Ignis declined, reminding Olivia that she was, after all, a dragon of fire. Around the fire, Olivia asked Ignis what had befallen her brother. Ignis became emotional upon hearing her brother's name. In a somber voice, she recounted to Olivia how she and her brother had shared numerous tales beneath the starry sky, stories of his loss, all the battles she had fought before her encounter with Rush, and how she had inexplicably lost her powers. Olivia sniffled, finding Ignis' story profoundly sad. Amidst her sobs, she asked Ignis if she was traveling the world to reclaim her deceased brother's item, deeming it a sorrowful endeavor. Ignis smiled and affectionately called Olivia a crybaby. She then inquired how Olivia had managed to escape that place alone. Olivia provided Ignis with a detailed account. She explained that Rush had killed her, and her consciousness had faded. It felt as though her memories had vanished along with her senses. She experienced a sensation akin to falling into an eternal abyss. She believed she had lost her inner flame when she was imprisoned and subjected to torture. However, the sole thought that remained was the absolute necessity to protect Emma. At that critical moment, the flame that had been extinguished reignited. And when she finally opened her eyes, she forcefully shattered the machine, gaining her freedom. She demolished the machine, thus escaping with an unwavering resolve to protect Emma. Ignis began contemplating the concept of a monster's flame and its ego. Emma's flame was completely gone, yet Ignis wondered how Olivia's had been rekindled. She couldn't be certain whether the items would truly revive Taffas. She grew frustrated, realizing she knew too little about this world or the mystical flame. Olivia smiled and informed Ignis that she had a gift for her. She presented Ignis with a keychain. She explained that it was called a keychain and that she had purchased it from the merchant because it resembled Ignis. Ignis was delighted to see that Olivia had gotten it for her. Olivia then handed the keychain to Ignis. Ignis thanked her for the thoughtful gift, promising to cherish it always. Although nothing was fully resolved, conversing with Olivia had softened her heart and alleviated some of her pain. Sometime later, she told Olivia they should get some sleep. She noticed that Olivia was already asleep. After a moment, Ignis sensed someone's presence. She discerned a shadow in the distance. Upon clearer observation, she saw a male figure standing before her. She immediately rose, gripping her sword tightly. The man's face was obscured. She observed him and wondered what he was. However, she could distinctly feel the distant flame of a monster. The man with the blank face inquired of Ignis if she did not wish to resurrect her brother. Ignis, upon hearing mention of her brother from this stranger, became bewildered. The man assured her that he would reveal everything if she quietly followed him. He then addressed her by name. Ignis was certain that this individual was, without a doubt, a monster. Yet, she had no idea how he knew her name or the existence of her brother. She was convinced that this person was not someone she had encountered previously. She extended her sword toward him and demanded to know his identity. The man turned his head, waved his hand dismissively at Ignis, and told her it was perfectly acceptable if she had no desire for information. He then bid her farewell, and Ignis watched him, perplexed as to whether he was an enemy, unsure what to do with the unexpected information. However, she could not leave Olivia sleeping alone in such a vulnerable state. The man then assured Ignis that their meeting would only last a few minutes, so she needn't worry excessively. Ignis considered that if the meeting was indeed brief, she could perhaps arrange something for Olivia. She raised her hand and activated her summoning magic skill. Following the incantation, the fire elemental Ifrit materialized. She commanded the fire elemental Ifrit to remain there and protect Olivia. The fire elemental Ifrit nodded, and Ignis began to follow the unknown man's lead. The man sat on a bench and expressed his pleasure that she had come. He assured Ignis that he would answer any questions she might have, for instance, those pertaining to her brother or the powers she might require. The very first question Ignis posed to the man was to reveal his identity. The man informed her that he was a monster who shared a similar fate to hers. He then told Ignis that he could not disclose any further information about himself. Ignis was confused upon hearing this, unsure what he meant by their shared fate. She then asked him for information regarding her brother, and he proceeded to list the top-ranked individuals. Rank number 5 is the Castle Lord. Rank number 4 is the Vagabond, and rank 3 is the World Tree. Furthermore, rank 2 is Covetous, and rank 1 is the Ghost. He then told Ignis that this was all the information he could provide. Ignis had received vital information about the rankers, and she knew this knowledge was crucial for bringing Tafas back. She raised her sword, demanding that the man reveal everything. She warned him that if he refused, she would inflict harm upon him. Therefore, to avoid injury, he must disclose everything he knew. The man observed Ignis' intense determination and told her to let him inform her of something. She was not the only boss monster in the vicinity. Conversely, Olivia awoke from her slumber. She rose and noticed a male figure passing through the forest. The man extended his hand, and a screen appeared before him, displaying an error message. The man realized that the system prevented him from harming the protagonist. Ignis recalled having seen that very message before. It was the same one that appeared when she was unable to cast her skills. She was certain of it. However, it was unfortunate. Yet, the man did not believe he could approach her any closer. Ignis asked the man what he meant. He did not know how many such instances there were before she developed an ego. Ignis wondered what he meant by ego. The man informed her that understanding her ego was the sole path to becoming human. Ignis noticed feathers in the sky, which she had seen previously. Without wasting a second, Ignis ran back to where she had left Olivia sleeping. Although it didn't take long, she felt she shouldn't have left Olivia waiting alone. She reached the spot, but to her shock, Olivia was gone. She saw Ifrit still present. She asked Ifrit why he hadn't protected Olivia. She sighed, realizing that if she had prioritized what she had told him about staying put, her skills might not have fully returned. Nevertheless, she knew she had to find Olivia now, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, Olivia saw someone there. She asked if it was Ignis. It was a man with long brown fur. Olivia asked the man who he was. The man looked at Olivia. A screen displayed his name, Kia, a brown wolf pup. Kia glared at Olivia, gritting his teeth upon seeing she was human. He struck Olivia, but she managed to evade the full force of his attack. She was hit slightly and fell to the ground. She stared at him while sitting. Kia declared to Olivia that he would never forgive humans who harmed his family. He expressed his annoyance with all humans. In a loud voice, Olivia told him he was mistaken, she was not human. He was surprised to hear this. He asked Olivia if she was a monster if she wasn't human. Olivia nodded. Kia, after learning she was a monster, turned his face away. He was about to leave, confused about whether she was a monster or a human. Olivia saw him heading in the other direction. She asked him his name and questioned where he was going. He asked Olivia why she would care. He told her to disappear from his sight. She told Kia that her name was Olivia and asked him if he had seen a woman wearing a red patterned cloak. He looked at Olivia, realizing she herself was wearing the red patterned cloak. Olivia was ashamed of her foolishness, having forgotten that Ignis had given her the cloak to protect her from the cold. He asked Olivia if she was stupid, but he continued on his way without stopping. He noticed Olivia still following him and told her to stop. Olivia again asked him where he was going. He told Olivia that he was following the pack of wolves ahead. Olivia asked him the reason for following the wolf pack. He asked Olivia if she had a family. Upon hearing the word family from him, Olivia fell silent. As they were talking, a hunter suddenly drew an arrow. The arrow struck a tree directly, and Kia wondered if it was a human. The human asked Kia if he had said it was a human, believing he had gotten lucky and would be pleased. The man was a hunter named Rukul. Rukul told Kia that he couldn't bring him back dead, so he would go easy on him. Kia gritted his teeth in aggression. He told Rukul not to even think about doing it. He leaped towards Rukul, warning him to leave this forest alive. With full speed, he neared Rukul. Rukul punched Kia, who fell to the ground. He realized his body was becoming numb. Rukul clenched his hand, wondering how a monster like him dared to stand up against him. He assured Kia that he surely could not win. A cage from above descended upon Kia, trapping him inside. Rukul, after imprisoning him, looked at Olivia and asked her if she was also a monster. Olivia was startled to see him looking at her, and she became confused. She wondered what she should do, as Kia had been defeated by the human. She thought she had to save Kia at all costs, but she was terrified. She shouted at Rukul, demanding to know what he would do with Kia. She told him to answer her, and Rukul began considering his response. He told Olivia that he was only doing this as a request, but they would probably conduct experiments, torture, modification, and brainwashing, and then they would likely kill him. Olivia was shocked after hearing him. She thought that it was the same as before, but it was repeating. Something irreversible was about to happen again. She realized she had to save that monster. She ran towards Rukul. Rukul saw her approaching. He believed that a mere monster could do nothing. Kia, from inside the cage, slashed at Rukul's leg. He told Rukul that he would not forgive him. Rukul saw Kia, who had gotten up. He wondered if the anesthesia was insufficient. Meanwhile, Olivia got very close to Rukul. Rukul glimpsed at the wolf. He questioned when Olivia had approached him so closely. Olivia screamed and struck Rukul. Rukul fell from the cliff. They both fell to the ground. Rukul saw Olivia coughing. He asked her if she thought she would win by dropping him there. He called Olivia a monster. Olivia stood up, staggering. Well, she told Rukul that she wouldn't know unless she tried. Something began to flare up inside her. No other monster should endure the same traumatic experience as her. On the other hand, Olivia was certain she wouldn't understand her powers until she attempted to use them. Olivia noticed that her body was significantly larger, but also burning hot. She could feel that this state wouldn't last long, but she also knew that if she didn't defeat this guy, that monster would be in grave danger. She clenched her teeth. She knew she had a compelling reason why she could not lose to Rukul. She ran toward Rukul to attack him. Rookle told Olivia that her attacks were incredibly slow and entirely predictable. He told Olivia that her actions could barely even be considered attacks. He grabbed Olivia's hand. He punched her. Rookle also, in return, punched her directly in the stomach. He grabbed her shirt and stated that watching her mimic humans genuinely irritated him. He asked her if he was correct in assuming she had never fought against another human. He made it clear to her that a monster like her could never triumph because they were merely a source of experience points. He referred to them as a sacrificial ground, existing solely to make players stronger. He firmly believed that such creatures existed only to be eliminated. She asked Rookle if he truly believed monsters existed solely to be killed by humans. She screamed, telling him that this notion could not be true at all. Rookle kicked Olivia, who fell to the ground. Olivia told Rookle not to make her laugh. She asked Rookle to explain why monsters existed for humans. She asked him if they were destined to die. She vehemently refused to accept his line of thinking. She began to feel dizzy. Rookle noticed her lightheadedness and informed her that he would always inject poison with all his attacks. The poison he had just injected her with could kill weak monsters in mere minutes. He informed Olivia that she would become nothing more than experience points without an antidote. He also told her she would never obtain one. She stepped towards Rookle, telling him to wait. Lying on the ground, she wondered if she was going to die there. Additionally, she had no remaining strength in her body. A notification popped up, informing her that the effects of all-out pitches had been lifted. She realized she needed to save that monster. She started feeling incredibly foolish, wondering if she was truly going to perish in this manner. Lost in the forest, she felt pathetic as she remembered telling herself she would save other monsters. But now she couldn't save anyone. In her heart, she implored Emma to tell her what she was supposed to do. On the other hand, Kia was captured inside the cage. He couldn't move his body. He wondered if he should follow his family or the monster he had just met. Whatever his decision, it would have to wait until he was free from the cage. He knew he had to escape first to make any further choices. Meanwhile, Rookle approached. He called Olivia a stupid monster for bothering him in this way. He saw Kia there and asked him how he was doing. Kia asked Rookle what he had done to her. Rookle informed Kia that Olivia was dead, as he had injected her with poison. Kia cursed Rookle, telling him that he would never forgive him. However, Rookle had only prepared one cage. He felt regretful for having brought only a single cage. He informed Kia that the other monster, Olivia, was dead, and Kia would be used for experiments. Kia asked Rookle why humans did such things to monsters. Rookle told Kia that the reason was simply because it was enjoyable. Kia flew into a rage upon hearing that humans killed them purely for pleasure and torture. He began to glow red with aggression. He told Kia that he would kill him. Kia's first ego rage activated, and he started to become increasingly powerful from his intense anger. Rookle, upon witnessing this, realized that this was how a monster developed an ego. Kia attempted to break the cage, but Rookle observed his efforts. He complimented Kia's attempt, but informed him that this cage had been specifically designed for monsters that awakened their ego. He told Kia not to worry because there were many monsters like him at the place where he was going to take him. Suddenly, he sensed someone's presence. As he turned his head, he saw Olivia standing there, panting deeply. He was shocked to see her, as he believed she should be unable to move without an antidote. Olivia raised her hand. He saw Olivia holding an herb. He realized she had eaten a young shin herb that possessed detoxifying effects. Nevertheless, he informed her that the herb would not completely detoxify her. He drew his weapon, deciding to kill her anyway. He saw his arrow aimed at Olivia, and the arrow caused an explosion. The hunter's arrow bomb inflicted damage surpassing Olivia's HP, though the damage alone would have been more than sufficient. He realized it was the cape protecting her from the damage. He began firing more arrows at her. He thought it was nonsensical, despite her being a monster. Olivia was resolute, determined not to be scared anymore, or even hesitate. She activated Olivia's ultimate skill, the Memorialia Dema, to honor Emma. Olivia was lying on the ground. A flower was near her. Suddenly, a window screen appeared before her, mentioning the slime of the hidden garden. It informed them that the attribute had been unlocked. Another notification appeared directly in front of her, informing her about Slime's consumption and allowing her to obtain some of the consumed target's abilities. Furthermore, stronger abilities were acquired from targets associated with flowers. Another window screen informed Olivia about the Yunxian herb, which was of normal grade and possessed detoxifying effects. She wondered if she had gained this ability from eating that flower earlier. That day, she regretted not being able to give the flower to Emma, and she regretted leaving Emma's side. But this time, she knew she would regret it even more if she couldn't save this monster. She aimed her arrow and attacked Rookle. From above, she screamed and launched her attack at Rookle. An explosion occurred as soon as she released her arrow. Rookle stumbled, shocked that a mere monster had defeated him. Olivia was overjoyed by her success. She rolled and jumped on the ground. Kia broke the cage and freed himself from imprisonment. He asked Olivia how she had managed that. Olivia told Kia not to worry, informing him that she had beaten the hunter. Olivia helped Kia to his feet. She looked back and saw the hunter behind her. Rookle had activated Hunter's tenacity. A screen briefly appeared, stating that the player's soul resurrects for 70 seconds when killed while the prey is still alive. Rookle was holding his weapon. He told Olivia that he would kill her at any cost. Olivia was stunned to see that the hunter had revived. She had no idea what to do because she didn't possess much strength to fight him. Rookle rushed toward Olivia to strike her. Olivia saw him approaching. She believed it was the end, that she was going to die from Rookle's hit. Before the hunter could attack her, a blast suddenly occurred. Olivia fell to the ground. She saw this attack directed at Ignis and was filled with happiness and relief to see her. Ignis thanked God that she had arrived just in time and wasn't too late to save Olivia. She asked Olivia if she was all right, and Olivia assured her that she was perfectly fine. Kia asked Olivia who the girl was and to whom she was speaking. Olivia informed him that she was her friend, Ignis. Upon hearing the word friend from her, he recalled that he, too, once had a family. They were brown wolves, and he was the youngest. As was their custom, they were migrating to a new location as a pack. But something extraordinary happened to him. He developed an ego. His body felt scorching hot, and he was enveloped in a powerful beam of light. Then he transformed into a human form, with no trace of his former wolf self. He told his mother that his body had changed into the shape of a human. But contrary to his expectations, possessing an ego was not a good thing at all. As he became human, he was no longer a part of the family. He yelled at his mother, asking her if she knew he wasn't human, he was truly a wolf. He told his mother that he was still their family, despite everything. His mother began to roar at him. She rushed to bite him. He was stunned by this turn of events. Not only his mother, but everyone there attacked him. He had no idea why they would do that. He was clueless as to why they couldn't recognize him. Although he was still their family, despite his transformation into a human form, he escaped from the pack but couldn't abandon them. So he followed them, maintaining a distance. He observed them from afar. He hated humans and wanted to protect his family from them. Olivia asked Kia to tell them about his family. He told Olivia that his family no longer mattered because he was done with them. He believed that having a heart was painful, but sometimes something miraculous could occur. Meanwhile, his mother wolf happened to appear. He began to cry upon seeing his mother. He asked her if she was waiting for him. Olivia saw that the wolf who had appeared was indeed his family. The wolf mother began to emit sounds characteristic of a wolf. Ignis knew this monster did not possess the flame of an ego, so she wondered why it wasn't attacking them. Olivia showed Ignis the cage Rookle had used earlier, which looked remarkably similar to the one she had been imprisoned in. Ignis asked Olivia if that was the case. She considered that if it was the same cage, then it might be connected to guild number 0, since Rush had used an identical one. She suspected that the hunter might have some involvement. Kia looked at Ignis and asked if she was curious about the hunter. He told her that there was something he could do about this. Ignis was surprised to hear that Kia was capable of anything in this matter. Kia told her to give him a second. He activated the chasing the pack skill. A brilliant flash of light appeared, indicating a path. It was the trail the hunter had left while coming there. He informed Ignis that the trace would not remain visible for very long. so he told her to hurry. He told both of them to go ahead, as he had to follow his mother back to the pack. He also informed both of them of his name, Kia. He looked at Olivia and thanked her for saving him. Olivia realized that having an ego was painful, but she wanted to believe that having a heart brought a sense of calm. She told Kia that she liked him and wanted him to join them on their adventure. Ignis told Olivia that Kia wished to be with his family. Kia asked Olivia what she meant by adventure. Olivia confidently informed him that they could venture anywhere. However, Ignis interjected, telling Olivia to simply cease speaking. They continued their journey, following Kia's pack, which led them to their subsequent destination. As dawn broke, they arrived at the majestic Castle of Hope, known as Ruxpelio. Olivia and Ignis gazed upon the magnificent fortress. Olivia was overcome with joy and excitement at the sight of the enormous castle. Ignis, observing the human stronghold, mused that she might be able to gather crucial information about the rankers there. She also realized that she could likely extract her brother's item from a castle of such considerable size. They stepped inside the castle, and Olivia and Ignis began walking through its bustling streets. Olivia noticed a multitude of people, her happiness soaring at the sheer number of individuals present. Ignis, ever cautious, pointed out to Olivia, in case she hadn't already observed, that this was a castle teeming with humans. Ignis warned Olivia that they could not predict what might transpire. Olivia looked at Ignis and grinned, asserting that not all humans were inherently bad. She gently reminded Ignis of the kind shopkeeper, a benevolent man who had provided them with clothing and valuable information. Ignis found herself swayed by Olivia's words, acknowledging the truth in her statement. Not every human was malevolent. Ignis knew that Olivia had been hurt by humans on numerous occasions. She struggled to comprehend how Olivia could still place her trust in them. Perhaps, even if Ignis found certain things to be without value, she recognized that Olivia might perceive them differently. Nevertheless, she realized her immediate priority was to extract the material from the item she had taken from Rush. By chance, she inadvertently collided with a man, causing his notepad to tumble to the ground. He immediately bent down to retrieve his fallen notepad. He promptly apologized to Ignis for the accidental collision, emphasizing that it was entirely unintentional. He then inquired if Ignis was all right, and Olivia, with cheerful enthusiasm, greeted the man. Ignis scrutinized the man's face, instantly recognizing him as a monster. She remarked that some monsters masqueraded as humans. He turned and continued on his way. Ignis pondered why this individual, who was undeniably a monster, had ventured into a human castle. She grasped Olivia's hand and told her they should first locate a nearby place where she could extract materials. They proceeded toward the designated extraction area. Upon their arrival, they encountered a man named Risaku, whose profession was that of a blacksmith. Risaku grinned broadly, inquiring about the purpose of their visit. Ignis presented him with Rush's sword, asking if he could extract the material that had been utilized to enhance it. Risaku was visibly shocked to see the sword in Ignis' possession. He recognized it as Kaishar's shadow sword and questioned Ignis on how she had acquired it. He began to huff, remembering that a top-tier material had been employed in the sword's enhancement. He instructed them to wait outside, assuring them he would be finished in a moment. Ignis, however, informed Risaku that she intended to remain present during the extraction process. She explained that her reason for staying was the item's profound importance to her. He grinned and consented to perform the extraction in front of her. He placed the sword into Hope's extraction device. He informed Ignis that the device in which he had placed the sword was specifically designed to extract materials from items. He then allowed his mana to flow into the machine, activating it. The extraction process commenced, and Risaku observed an incredible aura emanating from the sword. He had never before witnessed such powerful effects. With the completion of the extraction, Tafas, the dragon of despair Fong, appeared. Ignis approached her brother's Fong and grasped it. As soon as she held it in her hands, she began to experience a series of memories. Seeing a past scene where the entire area was bathed in a crimson light, she clutched her head, wondering about the nature of this memory. It felt as though she had forgotten something profoundly significant. She questioned her own motives for trying to save her brother, asking herself if she was doing so simply because he was her sibling or because she harbored a deep hatred for humans. She continued to witness visions of her brother's past. Suddenly, Risaku placed his hand on Ignis' shoulder, asking if she was all right. Ignis immediately lashed out at Risaku, becoming aggressive. She vehemently told him not to touch her. She then slashed Risaku's arm with her nails. After her angry outburst, she instantly realized that her aggression had been completely unprovoked. She promptly apologized to him, admitting she had gone a bit too far. Risaku assured her that he was fine and asked if something was troubling her. Risaku informed Ignis that he was aware of the many individuals with diverse backstories in this game. However, Ignis remained silent, offering no response to Risaku. She turned away, preparing to leave. Before her departure, she instructed Risaku to keep the sword. Risaku was stunned to hear that she was relinquishing ownership of the sword to him. Ignis then exited the premises and went to Olivia. Olivia looked at Ignis and inquired if she had successfully retrieved her brother's item. Ignis confirmed, telling Olivia that they should depart. As they were about to leave, Risaku emerged and informed them that it would begin soon. Ignis looked at Risaku and asked what he meant by it starting soon. Risaku was surprised by her ignorance. He informed her that he was referring to Cynthia's speech, which would commence shortly. Ignis stared at Risaku, asking him to repeat what he had just said. The scene shifted to Cynthia, who was inquiring of her colleagues about the progress of the experiment preparations. She also asked them to update her on any advancements in the study. One of her colleagues confirmed that they were fully prepared for the experiment and that the device was completely set up. Another colleague informed Cynthia that the research was also progressing without any complications. She believed the progress was proceeding smoothly. Although she had anticipated it would take some time, she glanced at Ignis' picture and concluded that an intriguing individual had arrived. Ignis told Olivia that they should go there. She was unaware that Cynthia would be present. She ran toward the location where Cynthia was scheduled to deliver her speech. She observed the area, which was becoming increasingly crowded. As she headed for the center of the castle, she was certain that Cynthia was coming there, and the people had gathered specifically to hear Cynthia speak. They murmured amongst themselves as Cynthia arrived. She greeted everyone, introducing herself as Cynthia, the rank number 5. She smiled and expressed her pleasure at meeting all of them. The crowd erupted in cheers for Cynthia, a loud roar emanating from the audience who had come solely to listen to her. One person began to weep upon seeing Cynthia, clearly overcome with adoration for her. Others felt compelled to capture her image, as she was considered a celebrity. Cynthia decided to make a few quick announcements that day. She informed everyone that all users had recently been granted the Absolute Quest, a quest she was certain they all knew required the participation of many individuals. She explained how points could be acquired through various events, but also highlighted the most straightforward method, eliminating other players. She confirmed that player killing PK was not restricted within the system. She then told everyone that there had been a recent surge in PK incidents within the castle, which she found deeply regrettable. She implored everyone to refrain from fighting one another within the castle, emphasizing that it was their sanctuary. She promised everyone that all rewards would be distributed equally among the guild members in the castle once she emerged as the champion of the Absolute Quest. Kim questioned Distra how they would accumulate enough points without engaging in PK. Distra asked Kim if he was being foolish, pointing out that only the top rankers would have the opportunity to participate in the grand battle, meaning most users wouldn't stand a chance. She also informed them that the guard test was scheduled for the following day, so those who wish to participate must gather at the designated area on time. Last but not least, she activated her Area of Effect AoE skill, God's 5th blessing, upon everyone. She smiled, wished them good luck, and encouraged them to enjoy themselves. Ignis recognized Cynthia as the person she was searching for, given her status as the 5th place ranker. After the speech concluded, Kim remarked that it had been a good show. Tatantha corrected Kim, stating that it was a speech, not a show. Meanwhile, Olivia looked at Ignis and asked her if Cynthia was the same girl who had taken the item from her brother. Ignis appeared somewhat distressed. Nevertheless, she confirmed to Olivia that she was correct. Cynthia was indeed the girl who had taken her brother's item. They were both about to leave the area when a boy approached them. He called out to them, asking if it was their first time in the castle. He assumed they weren't particularly fond of Cynthia. He then told them he possessed some valuable intelligence and inquired if they wished to accompany him to hear what information he had. He revealed that Cynthia was not as benevolent as everyone believed. People returning from the speech overheard the boy discussing Cynthia. They believed Cynthia was incredibly merciful to allow such individuals to wander the streets freely. Ignis, after listening to the boy, wondered if he was opposed to Cynthia. She realized that not all humans within the castle held her in high regard. She agreed to accompany the boy, but he was shocked that she was so readily willing to go with him, suggesting she should be more cautious. However, he decided they must proceed regardless. Olivia asked Ignis if everything would be all right. Ignis reassured Olivia not to worry, as she had regained sufficient power to defeat Rush. As long as their opponent wasn't someone from Guild Number 0, she was confident they would be fine. However, the most crucial thing at the moment was information. She instructed Olivia, as they walked, not to leave her side under any circumstances. She followed the boy, and they both arrived at the camp, which served as the anti-Cynthia hideout. The boy informed everyone already present that he had brought new members. The boy's name was Lugo. The individuals already present warmly welcomed Olivia and Ignis. Olivia, with her exceptional social skills, greeted everyone. Olivia whispered into Ignis' ear to let her handle the socializing, as she needed information from them and was confident she could manage it. Ignis smiled upon seeing Olivia's face. She realized that this situation was different from her fight with Rush because now she had a trusted comrade. Ignis sat at the table with the members and questioned them about their current activities. They informed Ignis that, at present, they weren't undertaking anything special. In fact, they were simply waiting. However, they planned to attack Cynthia, and they were also concealing a monster. Ignis was shocked to hear about the monster from him. On the contrary, Cynthia ran happily, asking her fellow students if they had observed the foolish expressions on the faces of the crowd. However, she believed Ignis' expression was the most captivating, as she had stared at her so fiercely that Cynthia almost felt a desire to eliminate her. Cynthia's companion, whose face remained obscured, asked Cynthia if she was truly going to leave the hideout undisturbed. The companion warned Cynthia that they might uncover her malevolent side. Cynthia reassured her companion not to worry, as she was certain that everything was proceeding according to her meticulously crafted plan. The scene then shifted to the hideout, where Lugo informed Ignis that the guard test would be held the following day at the same location where Cynthia had delivered her speech. The guard test was expected to be challenging, so Lugo asked Ignis if she would be all right. Ignis clenched her hands, assuring him that the difficulty of the test, whether hard or easy, posed no problem for her. Lugo then asked Ignis if, in that case, he could assume they shared the same objective. Ignis agreed, assuring him that they would proceed as planned. Lugo told Ignis that there was still some time remaining before the test commenced, and they had something important to do beforehand. Ignis looked at Lugo, inquiring about this important task. The other members, along with Lugo, stepped forward and informed Ignis that the crucial matter was that they needed to form a party. Ignis felt a flicker of annoyance. Nevertheless, she knew they would be confronting Cynthia the following day. It was the afternoon of the next day, and the time for the test had arrived. They all gathered in the same location as yesterday. The monster Ignis had observed yesterday was also participating in the test. She wondered what the creature might be planning. Cynthia arrived, informing everyone that there were a total of 5 participants, which was fewer than usual. She noted that the number of participants had significantly decreased, wondering if the reason was the test's perceived difficulty. Ignis was intently watching Cynthia. She yearned to avenge her brother. She realized she couldn't simply force her way through as she had with Rush. She decided to first pass the test and gather more information, believing it was unwise to rush matters. Cynthia captured everyone's attention, asking if they were all prepared for the test. She then called out the guards and ordered them to set up the equipment. The guards dragged a hanging apparatus toward them. Cynthia instructed everyone to change into the prepared clothing. Ignis was surprised to hear about changing her clothes. She hadn't anticipated this requirement. These were the uniforms of the Rook's Pelio guards, which were equipped items. After they changed their clothes, Ignis felt peculiar wearing something other than her usual pants. Cynthia complimented everyone, telling them they all looked splendid. She then decided to announce the test contents. She informed everyone that there would be 3 missions. The first was maintaining public order. As she had mentioned yesterday, their mission would be to uphold order within the castle by preventing disorderly conduct, such as player killing. She believed 2 days would be ample time for them to complete their mission. She told everyone they would be assessed based on their attitude and performance. She then informed everyone that the second mission might prove more challenging for some, involving a monster raid. Ignis was shocked to hear about the monster raid. Cynthia then told them about the final mission, which would only be revealed after they successfully completed all the others. She withheld its details for the sake of fairness. Ignis observed 3 of the participants standing before her: a brown-haired man named Ryhelm, a martial artist, another man, Ralph, belonging to the fighter class, and a purplish-haired individual named Frel, whose class remained unknown. Ignis and Olivia stood together. Olivia noticed these players. Cynthia smiled, then told them they should first divide into groups. She believed they should mix men and women in each team. She paired Olivia with Ryhelm, informing them that they would be accompanied by Proctor B. She also told them that Frel and Ralph would be accompanied by Proctor A. With Ignis remaining, she had no partner. So, Cynthia decided that Ignis would accompany her. She assumed Ignis had no objections to this arrangement, asking Ignis if her assumption was correct. Ignis observed that Cynthia was intentionally separating her from Olivia. She wondered if Cynthia had discovered their secret. Nevertheless, she decided not to be ridiculous, confident that things would not go awry. Olivia approached Ignis and held her hand, reassuring Ignis that everything would be all right. Ignis had been doubtful, but Olivia's assurance brought her relief. She resolved to intervene if she perceived Olivia to be in danger. Cynthia then asked them to allow her to introduce the proctors for this examination. She introduced Proctor A, whose name was Selvarat, and Proctor B, named Tinia. Tinia, in turn, informed everyone that the exam would be rigorous. Selvarat also advised them to brace themselves. Cynthia then announced the commencement of the 32 tests of Rook's Pelio. And so, the guard test began, with each participant pursuing their own distinct objectives. Group B's mission was to maintain public order. They were patrolling the streets. Olivia overheard someone shouting at Hying, demanding he apologize for striking them first. Kim yelled at the boy who had bumped into him, insisting he display more sincerity in his apology. The boy retorted, yelling back that Kim was the one who had initiated the contact, and reminding him that he had already offered an apology. He then asked Hying what his problem was. Kim shouted at him, demanding sincerity or gold. He warned the boy that he would kill him if he didn't produce some gold. Tinia remarked to Olivia that these individuals would make good opponents for her. Ryhelm decided to handle the situation with those guys, and Olivia carefully observed them. She recognized the man as the one who had persistently bullied all the slimes not long after Emma, and she had developed their egos. She remembered that Emma had stopped her before, but she was confident she could handle this herself. Tinia was watching Olivia, who was observing them from behind a wall. On the other hand, Cynthia advised Ignis not to be nervous. She instructed her to approach, and Ignis stepped toward her. Cynthia raised her hand, placed it on Ignis' shoulder, and told her not to worry. She grinned and asked Ignis if it was true that she was a monster. Ignis realized that Cynthia was completely looking down on her. She considered eliminating her right then and there. She wondered what would happen to Olivia if she killed Cynthia. She knew that Olivia might get into trouble if the proctor discovered that Cynthia was in danger. Ignis pushed Cynthia away, telling her she believed she was there to take a test. Cynthia apologized to Ignis, claiming she was merely joking. She asked Ignis if she had been offended. Ignis denied it, stating she was not offended. She knew it was incredibly difficult to restrain her anger because she could sense her brother's item. which was embedded in the crown Cynthia was wearing. Cynthia laughed and told Ignis that there were recent rumors about monsters developing egos. She believed it was a popular new joke among users. Therefore, she told Ignis that there was no possibility of her being a monster. She looked at Ignis' face, wondering if she should torment her further. The scene shifted to Olivia, who interrupted Kim. Kim asked her who she was, questioning if she couldn't see that he was looting, attempting to extort an apology. Olivia told Kim that while she didn't believe all humans were flawed, she could not forgive individuals like him who harmed others for their own amusement. She then activated her skill, All-Out Pitch. Kim drew his sword, asking Olivia if she thought she could win simply by becoming a little larger. He called her slime head and assured her that she would regret this later. He delivered a sword slash with his weapon, unleashing a wild sword blast. Olivia knew this skill would have initially killed her, but after acquiring the ultimate skill from her fight with the hunter, she was aware that she had grown stronger. She rushed toward Kim, who told her not to get arrogant after dodging just one of his attacks. He then used both the sword slash and cross slash on Olivia. His attack sliced through Olivia's body. She knew that slime skills specialized in absorption, and she had acquired the consumption skill. She also knew she would replenish her mana by consuming the flowers she had picked. She tapped Kim's chest, activating her slime touch skill. He fell far away and slowly began to lose his strength, becoming encased in slime. He gripped his sword. Meanwhile, Tatantha aimed her arrows at the slime ball in which he was trapped. The slime ruptured, and he was freed. She thought it was very helpful. Kim told Olivia that she had better watch out. She began receiving notifications from the system, with one window displaying a temporary strength buff of 70 from the user Bundan. In the meantime, another screen appeared, informing her of a temporary stamina buff of 150. The third and final window displayed a temporary defense buff of 54. Kim told Olivia to die. As soon as he leaped toward her, Olivia kicked him. Her kick was so brutal that he fell to the ground with a harsh impact. Olivia thought in her heart that Emma didn't have to worry about her, because she could overcome any adversities that might arise. A notification appeared, informing her that the skill All-Out Pitch had been deactivated. She exhaled deeply after defeating him. Distra loaded her weapon, telling Olivia not to forget about them. She then fired her skilled fireball toward Olivia. Olivia enabled her skill, Constrained Shot. She realized that she had no strength left. Meanwhile, Tinia stepped in, telling them that it was enough. She began using her skills and commended Olivia for her excellent performance. She informed Olivia that she had passed the first test of maintaining public order with flying colors. She ordered Ryhelm to escort these people out of the castle, after which he would also pass the test. Ryhelm agreed to follow her orders to successfully complete the test. Tatantha knew that nothing good ever came from following him around. He asked Ryhelm if he could let them slide just this once. Ultimately, Olivia and Ryhelm, as Group B, successfully passed the test of maintaining public order. On the other hand, Group A's monster raid was in progress. Sarad knew that she would be maintaining public order, so they would handle the monster raid first. She told Frel to take care of the items she was giving him. She placed some magic stones in his hand, informing him that a magic stone would transport him to a designated location. Selvarat told him they should depart now and began walking forward. He recalled an old memory, when one of his fellow monsters had told him that humans confirmed their existence by calling each other by name. So, he had been informed that Bo14 would also be granted a name. His fellow monster had suggested he leave and discover the purpose of his existence. The fellow monster had named him Frel.